Hello, welcome teachers. This is part of a series of video trainings from First Leap, and in this particular video training, we will discuss the ABC Time curriculum that First Leap uses for its online language learning programs. The curriculum involves two main learning goals. Students learn English and practice certain skills. Let's examine aspects of those two main learning goals. The first goal is to learn the English language. That's the main reason students are in this online program. One of the main goals of learning English is to be able to use it to communicate, but students also need to learn English to learn additional subjects taught in English. Because many students are learning English in preparation for future programs that will be taught only in English. They may travel abroad and attend an all-English school, so they need to be able to communicate in English about everyday matters, and they need to have English skills that allow them to learn other subjects in English classes and school programs. This means that reading and comprehension is also important, as well as thinking skills, the ability to reflect and critically think in English. So that overlaps with abilities and skills they develop as they go through this program. They will develop creative and critical thinking skills, engage in problem solving, and work with others in teams and in competitions, and learn about values as well. The ABC Time curriculum integrates language learning with content areas such as language arts, math, science, and art, which may include drawing or music or a project they can do with a teacher, as well as social studies, another content area, which often involves lessons about societies or world cultures or things happening around the world. Integration of content in these areas as the language is taught is based on an instructional methodology called CLIL, which stands for Content and Language Integrated Learning. You can learn more about that methodology in the Methodology Training video series. The entire curriculum consists of 4 stages with 16 levels. Stage 1, the foundational learner stage, includes 4 levels, 1 through 4, designed for students ages 4 to 6 years old. These students are usually pre-kindergarten or kindergarten in Chinese schools. Stage 2, the early learner stage, includes 4 levels as well, numbers 5 through 8, designed for students ages 7 to 9 years old. These students are usually in the early grades of primary school. Stage 3 is the developing learner stage and includes 4 levels, numbers 9 through 12, for students ages 9 to 11 years old. These students are typically in the later grades of primary school, but sometimes there are some younger learners that are very good at English, so they may also go into this stage. And Stage 4, the advanced learner stage, includes 4 levels, 13 through 16, and is designed for students ages 11 to 13 years old. These students are usually in the higher grades of primary school or have just started junior grades. The curriculum. The topics and materials in the curriculum, these come from textbooks from Pearson Publishing. The Big Fun series is used specifically for foundational learners in levels 1 through 4 because the Big Fun text provides many foundational activities for beginner learners. The units are designed around themes or topics such as the classroom or everyday life. And the students have the books. They use the books outside of class time. Book 1 covers 8 topics, and then Book 2 covers the same 8 topics using different content and language that is more advanced than the first book as they progress through the levels. The Big English series is used for the higher levels with primary school students. Other resources used in the curriculum include the A to Z leveled reading system with 27 levels to help English learners develop reading skills. Students are given reading assignments as homework to help them develop their reading and language skills. To see where this is located or to learn more about this, you can go to www.readinga-z.com. The language program seeks to provide a whole English learning solution. Aspects of the online learning system include a well-developed authoritative curriculum, diverse in-class activities, professional assessment methods to place students in the levels appropriate for them, a well-researched scientific system behind the arrangement or order of curriculum, and a convenient reading platform for the students to continue to develop reading and English skills outside of class time. So now that you have a better idea of where the content is from and how it's integrated into the curriculum, let's examine the program structure a bit more. Recall there are 4 stages for foundational, early, developing, and advanced learners. With 4 levels in each stage, that adds up to a total of 16 levels. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the curriculum structure. Remember, stage 1, such as the foundational learner stage, includes 4 levels. So what's in a level? One level has 4 units. Each unit has 11 classes. 8 of the classes are regular lessons covering language and content subjects. A 9th class is used to review material covered in the 8-unit lessons previously. And then 2 more classes are used for reading and reading comprehension practice. That equals 11 for a unit. Actually, after all 4 units have been completed, an additional 4 classes are added to the levels to review all 4 units and give assessments. So that means there are 48 classes/lessons in a level. 48 classes held twice a week will require approximately 24 weeks to complete, so about 6 months. And there are 4 levels in the foundational learner stage, so it will take about 2 years to complete all levels in the stage. The other stages follow the same structure. So considering 4 stages altogether at 2 years per stage, it will take around 8 years for a student to complete the program if he or she follows it from beginning to end. Classes are held twice a week for 1 hour each class. Here's a breakdown of what occurs during a class lesson. The class lesson is broken up into 2 sessions. The first session lasts 25 minutes. Then students have a 5-minute break. The second session is also 25 minutes. At the end of that, the teacher can say goodbye to the students and fill out a class form to comment on how the students did. So, would you like to see common lesson topics covered in a unit? Here's an example. This is from Unit 1 of Lesson 1 for foundational learners. This is a unit overview for the lowest level using the Big Fun book. Notice Lesson 1 introduces the topic for the unit and presents vocabulary. Lesson 2 presents more vocabulary and usually presents sentence structures as well. Lesson 3 presents additional sentence structures and provides students opportunities to review vocabulary and use it some more. Lesson 4 pulls in content such as math. Lesson 5 brings in a reading. Lesson 6 introduces a value. Lesson 7 addresses a science topic. And Lesson 8 of the regular lessons also brings in a content subject, art. And for art, for example, the students will have the book and project instructions, but the teachers can talk about the steps and procedures and do part of the project with the students. It may be something like making something with paper, coloring, drawing, painting, or some other kind of art activity. After those 8 regular class lessons, Lesson 9 is used to review and assess student learning. Lesson 10 and 11 cover a book or a reading. You could say there is a 12th lesson, but that really happens at the end of the 6 months when 4 classes are added to review and assess all 4 units. Here's another example of a unit overview for a more advanced class using the Big English books. Again, Lesson 1 introduces the vocabulary and the topic. Lesson 2 introduces more vocabulary and sentence structures. Lesson 3 covers a reading, helps students work on reading comprehension here as well. Lesson 4 helps students work on communication skills, specifically listening and speaking skills. And often there are audio clips that students listen to and then demonstrate comprehension and ability to recall and respond. Lesson 5 focuses on grammar topics and helps students progress in writing communication skills. Lesson 6 presents a science topic. Lesson 7 presents a social studies topic, in this case one that promotes understanding of things happening in other parts of the world, such as time zones. Lesson 8 presents a value. And finally, Lesson 9, again, is the review and assessment. 2 additional classes, 10 and 11, are the reading classes. And once again, technically you might say there's a 12th class, but again, that happens at the end of the 6 months when 4 additional classes are added to review and assess all 4 units. What happens in those 2 additional reading classes, 10 and 11? Here you see an overview. The first reading lesson introduces the book and words students need to learn to understand the book. Students read the book and work on pronunciation, fluency, intonation, and proper pace. The second reading lesson focuses more on reading comprehension skills. Students demonstrate their understanding by answering comprehension check questions, and the students also use assistive reading comprehension techniques such as making mind maps, examining cause and effect, or comparing and contrasting to retell the story and demonstrate their recall and comprehension. So that concludes the overview of the curriculum content and structure of the program and classes. If you have any questions, be sure to communicate with First Leap designers or fellow teachers through WeChat to get your questions answered. Thanks again for listening. Happy teaching!